All right, we are live. Greetings, fellow traders. Let me get this tweeted out for everybody here so everybody get joined in. 1 second. There we go. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, I hope everybody had a great trading day today. Today we're going to be talking about day trading areas of interest with weekly levels. This is I don't know, just kind of an idea, just a continuation from one of the real great topics that we had. We were real excited to have Brian Shannon, CMT, on last night as we were talking about anchored VWAPs. And I just love how he said, it's not necessarily actionable, but it's an area of interest. It's a level of interest, right? So this week we're going to talk about a few more levels and areas of interest. And today we're going to talk about weekly levels. So before we do that, everything we're going to talk about, as always, is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So before we get started, let's take a look and see where we left off in the market today. Then we'll take a little peek at the futures too, just to see what's going on there as well. So right now, this is the monthly chart of the SPX, right? The S&P 500 index, cash index. And so so far, right, earlier, right, we had a red kind of start to the month. We had a red shooting star right here. It started out a little bit green, kind of inside candle right there. And look at this push, as we've already pushed over last month's upper shadow on this shooting star right here to get to all-time highs today. So really impressive stuff here. Here's the weekly chart, right, where we talk about weekly levels. So obviously this is going to be, a little bit of the part of the topic too. But look at that. So far this week, nice move up. Today's Monday, right? So it was all based on this candle right here. A nice, big, engulfing green candle today. Marubozu just about, right? Which means it starts at the lows and finishes at the highs, right at the all-time highs today, right? Really, really amazing stuff. And so let's take a look and just double check at the price action today, intraday, and see how it all kind of happened, how it played out. So today we had bullish. What was interesting, right? Because today we actually gapped down a little bit, right? But we aggressively filled that gap, right? We faded the gap, not only the open gap, but the closing gap as well, right? So where we gapped down from the close, right? And also the low of the day. So we pushed through all those. So that is, we've talked about this before, that is the whoops setup, right? So Larry Williams talked about that originally in 1978, right? Originally was where he discovered this or had talked about it, and well, he learned that from prior traders as well. But we gapped down below a key level right there, and then it's like, whoops, didn't mean to do that, right? And then faded it right back up, right? So we fill that today. So that was your 15 orb right here, right? And then we get a nice break out of there. It even gave us a hammer to get out of there, right, for a nice push up here. Even this candle alone is 2.65 points, which is nice, but then it gave a nice move up here all the way 33.32 up to 33.42. So a nice 10-point move even off of this hammer, and then you get an extra, few points here off of the 15 orb itself. So got a little bit of a pullback, got sideways action here today, giving inside 15 there, and then worked its way all the way up to all-time highs today, and a really, really strong close on the SPX. So let's take a look at the levels. These are the ones that we provide to our members before each market opens so that we have some context that we can work with, right? So here's the 5-minute chart. Bullish candle right off the open, right? All the gaps were filled in the first 5 minutes, right? And this would imply we want to test the next level. We got there, we had this candle right here to test the next level. Now risk reward isn't necessarily there to get to the daily pivot. Pull back, then we got this candle right here. This is a pretty decent little move right up to this level. Another one right here, next level, this level, next level, right? We got a bunch of upper shadows right here. We retested this level, the prior day's high, and came back down and then held the prior day's open for a while. A little ping pong between the R1 and yesterday's open, and then just a complete launch right into the end of the day. So really impressive stuff there. It was a fun day today. There was a lot of good price action today. So it was good stuff. So anyway, just to go back today, we're going to review, right, again, areas of interest, right? We're talking about day trading areas of interest, and we're going to talk about weekly levels. So again, this is inspired from our discussion last night with Brian Shannon, CMT, and really appreciate, his taking the time to talk to us about anchored VWAPs, and I love how he called, those anchored VWAPs just points of interest, right? So that was really cool. So today we're going to talk about other points of interest, and today, this week we're going to talk about other points of interest, and today we're going to talk about weekly levels. So let's take a look at the weekly levels. Let's first start off with the SPX here. Right, and so what we can see here on the SPX is this level that was formed right here was a nice area of support. We'll talk a little bit more about this week too, but I just wanted to show how important the weekly chart can be, right? Because it gives very, very powerful levels. Right, you can see it a couple times. Right? It happened in the past. See all these levels on the weekly chart, how they just kept on kind of hitting this level right here. Right, very, very important stuff. Right, so this was definitely a level of interest prior to all-time highs on the SPX. Right, and you can see how many times it tried to get through that level and just couldn't do it, and then it came down off of it, got to the 30 moving average, right, and then tried again here, right, upper shadow, then it couldn't get there, and then finally it got through that area of interest here and gave a big move up after that, right, it was 30.66 and ultimately got up to 31.56, almost a 100-point move from that level, right, it gave a nasty little corrective candle right here, right, and then it just continued to work its way up. right? So as we did that, right, we formed this level of interest right here where we found some support on the weekly chart, right? We had a lower shadow right here and then another little lower shadow right here as well. We worked our way up and then boom, back down. Now at this point, everybody thought the market was going to collapse. Now we know, based on all the work that we've done here, in our sessions here, we know that we're not really that concerned. Now, obviously, a big pullback from, from these levels right here at 32.12, all the way to 86, I mean, could have ultimately, worked as a 50-point move or more, right? But we're not super concerned about a recession starting or bear market until we can close bearishly on the weekly chart below the 30 moving average, right? That's one of the things that we like to look at. That was a big help from the discussion on profiting in bull and bear markets, right? So that being said, right, so now we have this key level right here. So this is definitely one for us to keep an eye on, but it doesn't mean we didn't have this level right here, right, the prior all-time highs. Right, we got through that today. So now we're going to see how we work with this level here. So we're at this key level and trying to work our way up right now. So we'll see. We've got this very, very interesting range on the weekly chart. We need to keep that in mind. The weekly chart is great because it tunes out a lot of noise and allows us to focus in a lot more on very, very important recent levels, right? So we definitely want to focus on that. So one more I want to do, and you guys see me tweet this out typically on Saturdays, where I tweet out significant or notable inside weeks, right? So that's another. We've talked about inside candles before, and certainly gone over this a lot. We talk about it all the time, right? But one of the things we like to look at are the inside candles, right? So you can see if you're here on SPX, obviously we'll do that. But what I want to point out is one from last week. This is one we just really kind of noticed, right? So here on Netflix, right? So Netflix had a very, very important weekly level right here last week. We had an inside doji week, where it was a harami, it was an inside candle, and this level right here turned out to be very, very important, right? It was a nice breakout level, and so we wanted to keep these as areas of interest, right? So we held the real body right here on the last week, right? And we finally broke out of the inside candle right here, which was 352.40. So let's put a line up there on that. So it's 352.40 here. Properties 352.40. I'm just going to put this weekly level of interest. Okay, weekly area of interest, right? So that's it. That's a weekly area of interest right here. So now let's just look at the daily chart and see how that played out, right? So let's take a look here. Let's go to the daily, and this is exactly where it happened. Let's go here back to, I believe, where am I at? What was that on the weekly? I'm on C9. So let me pull that up here. C9. So there we go. So there's your level of interest, right? So we actually, very, very interesting, right? We actually had a double inside day too that was forming a bull flag on Netflix at this time, right? So here on Monday, look what we did. Right? It was a very, very fast moving day, right? But look what happened. We had a double inside day and worked our way up, and then we got to that weekly level of interest right here. And clearly that was a very important level, to be observed, right? Because once we broke through there, we had a huge move from there, 32.52, and the next day, a beautiful move up to 369 all the way from there. So over a 17-point move, and then ultimately gapped up the next day to 375, right? Which is a almost a 20-point move off of that just in 2 days on Netflix. So very, very big stuff on that. Let's go to the 15-minute chart and just look and see how that played out right here. Okay, so let's go back to C9 on this one, and we'll take a look and see where that was. So this was that day, right? So we had the double inside day, and look how we handled these levels right here. Right, we came right back into the double inside day range. This is the prior high. This is the high of the prior day right here. So we can see this. I'm going to put a level right there too. Okay, yeah, not exact, but you can kind of see how we handled this price action that day. So it's a very, very important stuff, right? So we gapped up right inside the prior days, the double inside day range. Right, we tested down briefly as we got basically to the pre-market lows right there. Held that with a lower shadow and then blast through, right, these we get this right here. We blast through the pre-market levels right there to give it a nice momentum move up to the weekly level of interest. Right, you can see very, very quickly we plowed through that. So this is a great way if you guys use stop entries, things like that, to take advantage of this level of interest. Not only do we have a great entry here, but a nice push through on these levels to the upside. Right, a couple little pullbacks, right, and then ultimately worked its way to the high of the day and then drifted nicely. And you can see the next day got some more nice follow through those levels, right, and then a nice push up to these highs here. So now we're kind of contending with these levels. A lot of strength actually here on Netflix here today too. Very, very similar moves. A nice move up, but it's did pull back a little bit, possibly with a falling wedge type pattern type thing. So we'll see where we open tomorrow with Netflix. But anyway, that's the idea, and that is certainly using the weekly chart for its levels of interest. And right now we still have an inside week too, and I think a good interest too would just be the upper shadow on this one to see if we get a tail fail on that into tomorrow. So if we can take out last week's high, we may see a momentum move on Netflix too. So again. And that is just an important thing to do, just to take note, to be able to, in your, after hours when you're trading, to try to mark these levels on the weekly chart and apply those to your day trading too. So hopefully you guys find that helpful. And at this point, if anybody has any questions or chart requests, please feel free to plug those in the chat window, and we'll get through as many as we can and try to wrap up as early as possible so we can get a good night's sleep and have another awesome trading day tomorrow. So great stuff. So let's take a look. So Shirley sent a few in via email. So let's take a look at those. We have BKI. Okay, so BKI, interesting. So Black Knight. So let's take a look at this here. So reminds me a little bit of Monty Python, right? So right. So anyway, looks good. Bullish till proven otherwise. Looks like you have a nice little channel working up here too. I like how it's closing above the the recent highs here. So that does look pretty bullish. Good volume here. Just watch out. You got earnings coming up soon. Okay. SPCE, this is a good one. This came up on our radar today in our group, right? It was really, really nice. If you just go to the 15-minute chart today, give a really nice move here. Finally get real nice. I give you an inside 15 here, nice break to the upside, a little bit of a pullback, bull flag, and then up again. So we like that very much. And then it closed actually quite well today on SPCE with good volume, right? So it doesn't have earnings until the end of the month. So let's see if that gets any more strength as it has hit its all-time highs here too. So let's see if that continues as a breakout move. It may give a little bit of a pullback, kind of retest some of these levels before it decides to get going again. But yeah, I'm liking SPCE there. PCG, another strong one. So this is a good one as well, Shirley. It's a nice breakout move right there. It looks like it's getting a lot of bullishness off of its privatization, right? So people want to get as much of a piece of this before maybe it goes away permanently. So we'll see how that goes, or publicization, or whatever they call it. So I mean, nice break out of this level right here. So good candle today. Not as much volume as I'd like to see, but hey, if you were in it and took advantage of it, it was still a good move today, right? We saw this at the open today and gave a nice, decent move up as well. So good job on PCG. And then IQ. So IQ, we talked about this on the recap video today. So IQ and Huya both decided to perk up today. Now IQ has been working its way up. Again, I try to keep these things off my radar just because some of these names can be, especially IQ and Huya, both of them are a little bit less expensive and they can be a little bit volatile, and the option prices often aren't that good, so we don't really trade them that much anymore. But sometimes they can be interesting. I do like the close on IQ today, so that's looking pretty good as well. And then NVTA. This one pops up on our radar a lot, and you can see why, because when it does go green, it goes green strong, right? You get a big green candle right here, big green candle here, and then of course a couple days ago, this one right here. Now it's been holding the upper end of that upper shadow range, and now it is looking like a northern doji right now, so we'll have to see how that holds. It did close over a couple levels right here. It's got this level, a couple levels above, so it's looking pretty interesting, and maybe they're trying to give it a little earnings run here, before its earnings report comes out, so let's see how that holds up. But yeah, great charts. Nate, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Nate, yes, I don't know. Good stuff. Enlighten me, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Good evening. Paul Late, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Matt, good evening. Thanks for tuning in, my friend. Paul, what's happening? Hey, hi. SNDC4S, welcome. President accounted for. Jay, what's going on? Yeah, let's take a look at AMD. Great close today on AMD. Great day today on AMD, really. So AMD, a lot of these semiconductors did really well today, well, at least the popular one, the graphics one. So AMD did well, NVIDIA did well today. Nice close above these levels here. Tricky, right? Because a great day, great volume, just right at all-time highs. So let's see how it handles that level tomorrow. I would love to have seen it close above that to see if we get a little more strength on it. But hey, it might give it a nice plow level through those levels and get some more momentum tomorrow too. So that's looking pretty good. OSTK. This does pop up on our radar a bunch, but it just doesn't get a lot of follow through, right? It's pretty cheap, so it makes it really tough to trade these days. So it did give a nice move here. It kind of popped up on our radar here intraday, and there was just like not really much going on with it, right? So, but it's interesting, right? So it's definitely range bound. Right, it's definitely range bound. I had a big move down after the CEO kind of blew it for the company, and really we're kind of focusing on these levels right here, the high of these guys. We can get a nice breakout candle above there. Right, we talked about it back here. If we get a nice breakout level above these, we'd certainly look to possibly going to move up to the 200-day moving average. So definitely on the radar if it could do that. TTD has been doing some interesting stuff here. It actually looks like it's starting to work on a bit of a bull pennant right here. It is defending the gap nicely from its previous gap up. Had a great day, recently, and then it, basically came up and then kind of invalidated it with this candle right here. So we're just kind of slowly moving up here and not really seeing too much compelling. We did close over prior resistance, right? So we'll see if that gets some move. Didn't get a lot of impressive volume today, but it did have some nice intraday action. Right? Had a big move at the open through the pre-market levels, and then a little bit of a pop at toward the end of the day. So we'll keep an eye on it right here. But it does look like it's kind of triangulating here, kind of consolidating. So something to look at right there. Michael, what's going on? Silly not to be a member. A disservice to yourself. Oh yeah, thanks, man. The scanner. I know we just developed a new scanner for our group guys. I know a lot of folks here are members, but the scanner is really something just to put like all these great stuff like right in front of us intraday, and then you have to know like our setups, right, and how we look at charts. But once you know that, right, you can really apply this to look for some great moves. So we're catching a lot of market momentum on that, which is great. So yeah, and glad to thank you everybody who is a member. Appreciate your support. Tesla, good stuff. So Tesla, inside day up today, right? So we gapped up a little bit on some crazy, they're going to get bought out by Google news. And then, I mean, nobody really came in, and I don't think anybody recanted that news today. But anyway, whatever it is, it got a big pop today. It did a little Tesla action, right? Gapped up, right? Then it got to the inside day high, couldn't quite handle it today, but then it did give a good pop. I mean, it had some action today, right? So it was, nice gap up, big move up at the open, right? Big pop here and a pullback, right? But then it finally gave you that little inside 15, then try to get up to 15 orb. The only thing is a minor move right here. That's from 762 all the way up to 785. So a nice 20-point move on Tesla. This thing's just been very, very wild recently, right? And today's range, was 67 points, right? So I mean, it's really getting crazy. It's like 135 points here, 112 here, 60-something points here, right? This one, 141 points. So it looks like it's starting to calm down a little bit, but we'll continue to monitor this one as well. Oh, one thing I wanted to show you too on the weekly chart. Check out this little narrow range, right? Inside week, right? We're talking about weekly levels today. How about that for a level right there? It's basically at that 339 level. Look at that breakout off of that little narrow range inside week, and then see ya explode. That's like a little, like a, atom. We split the atom right there, and then all the way up. I mean, just incredible stuff right there. But anyway, so that's Tesla. FCEL, FCEL. Yeah, very good right there. Inside day up today, right off the cloud. So that gave a nice move today. Kind of out of nowhere, right, if you think about it. Like fuel cell energy, good. Closed over a lot of key levels right here. Filled an open gap, right? Still got a closing gap above, too, that they want to test. So, but yeah, nice strong candle right there. Very, very nice. Breakout candle. Potential out of that range. Looking good. Keep an eye on that if it gets out of that tomorrow. Bloom Energy, very interesting right here. It's right at these this plyo resistance level. So if that gives another push, that could get a move out. I like these energy stocks that you're looking at right here. NVIDIA. NVIDIA's just a great day today. Just a beautiful move, right? Inside day up, and just strong today, right? AMD, NVIDIA in particular, just a very, very strong move. Closed over a lot of key levels here. So it's given a nice run here up to earnings. So let's see if it can continue that. And work. Yeah, work was incredible today, guys. So work was just a beautiful move today. This came on our scanner early. The scanner! It came on our scanner earlier today. We looked at it at the open. It gave us a nice move on our intraday levels, right? Inside 15 up was just a lot of bullish move. Then see ya, right? I love how when we're in a trade, or we're pointing out a trade before the big volume comes in, right? Before the sweeps come in and all that, and the block trades come in. So that's great. It's always nice to be a part of that. So anyway, big move today, but big upper shadow too as it closed. And I think it was halted at the close. And why on earth they would do this and just discount what the original news was today was their IBM. They're a huge, IBM, service that that IBM likes to use, Slack. Right? And it's like, okay, cool. So whatever. It goes, and then they come out and they halt it for news into the close, and then they come out and say like, oh yeah, we've been with them for a long time. It's like, really? Right? Why would you do that? Right? Your stock is moving up. Like, why would you just be, oh yeah, it's nothing? Okay. All right. So that didn't help. So anyway, so after it was halted, of course, anybody who's long here gets to feel, unfortunately has to feel a little bit of burn here. But hopefully it'll get its way back up here. It might have been just an opportunity. Might just be an opportunity to buy the dip on this thing. So, pretty strong there. Big upper shadow today, but we'll see how that moves into tomorrow. So yeah, good stuff. Oz, what's going on? BLDP, let's take a look. So BLDP. Okay, yeah, BLDP looks pretty good too. I love it. It's got a nice close over these levels right here. So the Ballard, yeah, this popped up on our radar too today. I like how it closed above this guy. It's above this guy, not quite above that guy. So a couple little levels here, but if it pushes above this 1159, 1160 tomorrow, you might get a move and try to get at those recent highs. So that'll be pretty good. Nice close, nice volume. I like it. CRWD. This one tried to play today along with work and all that stuff, to try to like ride on the coattails. So I couldn't quite get the move today, but it was a pretty decent green day. But again, at this point, I'm just looking at prior resistance right here. Try to go over that prior resistance here and left an upper shadow. So these are kind of like the levels that we want to see us get above, and then see if we can start working our way back up again. Good stuff. Prayer Kid, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in, man. Good to see you. Cloud Guy, Thank you so much. Thanks for tuning in. Zach, what's going on? Big. Let's take a look at a big lots. Inside day. This is a tricky one, guys. So this one occasionally gives a move, but it's getting really tight right here. It's an inside day right at the 50-day moving average today. It was up a little bit. So let's see if we can give an inside day breakout and give you a move. This is possible. This is possible. It's got something going on here. I like a little bit of momentum. I like the gold cross right here on the 50 over the 200 MA. We're over the cloud. This could give you an inside day up if retail wants to be strong. I like it. Cool. What's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. So how can we know that a stock trend in the opening bell like Amazon did today? So a couple different things, right? So there's different tools that you can use, and there's different tools that we use, in the group and all that. So, but with Amazon, there's a couple of things, right? And a lot of price likes to test levels and likes to break out of levels. It doesn't want to hold it anymore. So yesterday's high is definitely a key level today, right? And then we also want to look at our pre-market levels, right, into the open, right? So here is yesterday's high. Here are the pre-market levels. So a couple things you can do is just watch the pace of your price action at the open, right? And it's hard to do it right now, right? Because we're not like in the thick of it. We can't see, exactly what's going on. But you can see Amazon move very, very fast this morning. So a lot of folks will do, right, is if you see your pre-market levels right here, I actually go back to the, where did I draw these? All right, so this is on C9 as well. It's popular here today. So if we go to C9 here, you see our pre-market levels. So what some folks will do is put a stop order, and it's tougher with options, right, to do a stop order, because you calculate it goes really, really fast, right? But we'll put a stop over, before the market's even ready, is to estimate where the stop order is based on the levels from the prior day, right? And then look to enter that off of whatever strike they're looking at. So the 2090s, for instance, say 2090s, we're at a low of, let's just take a look and just see what it looks like here. So the 2090s, we're at a low of, if you're in the money, depending how you like the trade. We like a little bit in the money. So the 2090s were low of like 23 bucks. So let's say we wanted to enter in at 25 bucks today on those options, right? So here we might put a stop order in on the options at 25 bucks, right? So once we get through those momentum levels right here from the open, right, we're in at 25 bucks, right? And then the next target level here is the prior day's high. And we could blow through that, which we did within the first 5-minute candle, right? You can have a stop order there, or you can, look to raise stops there if you got an entry on this momentum move. And that's how you catch it, right? You just have to know the key levels and where the breakout points are, right? So the reason is, right, we're still working our way up, right? It's strong, right? This was the first day, right, that we closed above, the prior all-time highs and the recent, the recent all-time highs. And we had a little bit of upper shower there. So if you can break out of that today, through the pre-market levels and that level, right, you can expect some momentum moves, especially on something like Amazon that's been it's been beat down for so long and hasn't really made any major moves since that one breakout candle back here. So that's one way to do it. Right now, it doesn't happen all the time, right? But it has to just kind of set up, right? Today we had a huge buy the dip opportunity on the market, so that helps as well, right? We talk a lot about using futures and the stock, the market sentiment to our advantage, right? So one thing is, Amazon gapped up today, right? And so one of the things that the market did is it gapped down today, but it reversed really quickly. So now you've got this big wave of momentum right behind stocks this morning as the market shows a strong momentum at the open, right? And so that is, you just kind of have to assimilate that into the open, that hey, the market's strong, it's pushing to those levels, Amazon's gapping up, it's going through some key levels, and then you just at that point you take your leap of faith and have your risk prepared and your stops ready, and you can catch those moves at the open. So that's really kind of the key deal. Claudio, what's going on? Guild, let's take a look. How's Guild looking? Guild's tricky, but it did give you a nice lower shadow. Guild trades differently than a lot of things, right? So it does these crazy shadows and these big moves intraday, and it's really tough to swing, but it is making comparable, lower shadow right here that it did over the 50 and the 200 moving average right here. So it's holding these prior big closes right here. So let's see, it finished red today, but red candle, but let's see if it can work its way up and get through that, kind of hammer day and give a move. So that could be interesting. And win. Pretty interesting right here. Got it had a nasty candle the other day. It got some follow through today to the downside with a gap down, right? And then it quickly recovered, right? It's quickly recovered and closed within the prior day's range. It is still below the the daily cloud here, and it may have a little bit of room. May want to test a couple of these levels in this candle, but let's see how well the bears can defend that gap. Let's see, Shack. Yeah, Shack we've kept on a radar too. It's kind of hoping to be a little bit stronger today, but again, the 200-day moving average just kind of ruled it today, and also the cloud top on the daily. So you got a doji right here off of an inside day, a failed inside day breakout. So at this point, I don't really want to touch this thing unless we can close bullishly above this high, which is like right at the cloud right now. So that's going to be a key level. We want it to close above the 200-day moving average with some volume, which would be great to show that it's ready to get out of there. And then Tesla. Yeah, Tesla we looked at a little bit earlier. Inside day up, right? So nice move, big gap up today, and then came back down. Tesla's always a little bit of a move back up again, but still basically like right at that prior day's range. So a little bit tricky here, but we'll see. It is defending these prior gap levels right here, so it could be interesting to see if that continues. So let's see. Let's see what Tesla has in store. What kind of shenanigans it has in store for us tomorrow. Cool, and Zen's looking good. Let's take a look. Yeah, nice move today. Nice move up. Closed over prior recent, pivot highs, and still into some selling pressure and all that stuff. So it looks like we've got another key level up here. We do. So open gap still above. Right. So it may, maybe trying to work up there. Look for intraday setups to see if this thing, give you a push to try to get to these levels. I mean, things are looking good here. We're about to have a gold cross going on Zen, a little bow tie type move right here. So we might have a gold cross up, and it might get a little more momentum on that one. So that could be interesting. And then QCOM. Inside day down with a gap down, right? And then it reclaimed, right? So where did it get to? It got right to the downward trend line right here. So why is this the downward trend line, not through here? Because these were breakout attempts. We didn't have a low since then, right? So that's our downward trend line. So we came right down today over the 50-day moving average. Looking pretty good. Volume's not really there yet, but if we can get above this guy, right, 91.14, right, with some strength, we might, try to play some of these strings up here and start to work our way back up to those highs. So that'll be good. Clayton, what's going on? Home Depot. Let's take a look. Yeah, so Home Depot is good. That hit our scan today, toward the end of the day, but it was a nice move, right? So you go here, right? It's hit our scan somewhere in here and give a nice push up here into the end of the day. So it's it's the highest weighted stock on the home build, the Spider Home Builder ETF, right? So it gave a nice close today. Closed a lot of these recent levels right here. Nice volume. So could get some strength. So looking pretty good here on Home Depot. Claudius SPY. Let's take a look. So SPY, let's see, yes, and again, nice close on SPY as well. So this one hit all-time highs before the SPX did today. So again, looks good. I mean, very bullish close here. And I said we might take a look at futures here. So let's take a look at the futures right now. We're getting some nice follow through from the end of the day earlier here. So let's take a look and see how futures are looking right now. Yeah, so we are up, since the close, right, about 9.5 points right now. So it's doing pretty good here from today's levels. So let's see if we continue to hold this trend line in throughout the evening today and get some follow through on that one. So Ernesto, what's going on? Yeah, let's take a look at Facebook. Yep. So Facebook, looking pretty good. I mean, it's working on its way up into the gap, the earnings gap right here. So that was that big move before earnings had a big gap down. It's trying to get, kind of creep its way up into the gap. Now, it did have some nice intraday moves today, right? This beautiful inside 15 breakout out of the 15 orb, right? It's kind of just push up into the gap, make a couple big, tweezer tops right here, big upper shadows, and a move back down to the 15 orb, right? Held that level and then kind of tried to work its way back up, right? So we're starting to see that kind of creeping its way into that gap. Dennis, what's going on? Codex of the virus. Let's take a look. CODX. Let's see how that's looking. Yeah, I finally got out of these levels. So this is one of those ones, cool one that we're talking about. Keep an eye on these levels. If this is something that you like to trade, we have a bit of a bull flag working here. We got the nice breakout of the bull flag here. Took out this key level, took out that key level for a momentum move, and gave you a nice 30, cent big move today intraday on CO Diagnostics. So that was a nice move intraday. So strong close, a little bit of upper shadow, but obviously it's going to still have interest based on that virus stuff. It's looking cool, Dennis. Dimitri, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Paul, what's going on? MU. Let's take a look. So MU. Wow, good old MU, right? So, it just kind of dripped down a little bit on Friday and then gapped down a little bit more today and then said, hey, I want to play with AMD and NVIDIA. I want to be in that group too. So it gave a little bit of a move here, right? So we'll see. It just still looks like it's kind of slipping a little bit, but it did get above this resistance level slightly. So let's see if that can hold there. Didn't have a lot of volume of conviction on it, but let's see if it can hold and try to work its way back up there. Otherwise, it's got a couple gaps below that it might want to fill. And Michael, what's going on? CGC. You got the January 22-25 calls. Let's see. So, wow, brave. But you got earnings coming up. So earnings are coming up next week. Friday. Woo. Good grief. Seems like next week. But we got earnings coming up Friday. So that could be very, very interesting, right? It gave this nice breakout candle here on CGC. Gave a couple days up. And look at that. It's kind of already drifted back. It even gapped over the scene of the breakout right here. Basically touched it a little bit. And then now it's down below the 50-day moving average. So these pot stocks are definitely struggling, right? So it needs to get a little perk up, and hopefully the little earnings report could get it going again. But it's going to be tricky. So, but yeah, if there's some flow in there, it could be interesting. And Clean Energy Long 2022 codes also. Oh, cool. especially if Bernie gains more ground. There you go. And then short healthcare. That's right. Yep. Yep. Bernie wins. You got clean energy and then short healthcare. I like it. Good stuff. Good. Well, great discussion tonight, guys. I really enjoyed talking about these levels of interest. We'll talk about some different ones this week as well. I thought it was great that Brian Shannon, CMT, was with us last night and talking about the Anchored VWAP. I thought that was really cool and gave us some other neat tools to work with and to consider when we're navigating these markets here. So that was great stuff. And we'll look at some other cool areas of interest too this week. So it's a great chart request, guys. I really appreciate everybody tuning in tonight. And I hope everybody has a wonderful night tonight and looking forward to a great trading day tomorrow. And thank you again, everybody, for your support. And look forward to talking to you soon. And remember, you're risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.